Hi, I'm Susan Kennard, and welcome to the Spiritual Awakener podcast. This is a podcast where I get to interview really cool people about their cool stories, usually a turning point or a spiritual awakening that's led them to understand that they had a really special mission in the world. As you know, it's my mission to help people get on their mission. So I love interviewing these people. And my next guest today is a lady called Jenny Rice. She has a company called EZtapping, and she's going to tell us all about what EZtapping is and also an awakening moment that she had in her life. So thank you for joining the Spiritual Awakener, Jenny. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, great to be here. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Good, great. So, Jenny, what is EZtapping? I know what it is, but tell our listeners what it is.
So EZtapping is a tool that helps people that don't know what to say when they're doing the tapping points and work on their various internal issues that they have. And what it's really meant to do is that to keep people tapping, because tapping is such a great, amazing tool for people to work on their challenges, their issues, their limiting beliefs, or any intense emotions that they have. And so people tend to, what do I say? What should I tap on?
Yeah.
And this tool is really meant to help people say, this is what I need to tap on. Here's my tapping points, and here's this tapping script for people to work on.
That's great. I know. And, my background was tapping as well many years ago. And for me, often there's lots of different schools of thought, but for me, that silent tapping quite often is all people need. When I use it, occasionally I do use it with people. And just that not knowing, people go, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And you're exactly saying that. So you have this whole way of working and helping people to understand that actually, it's not, you don't need to have a script specifically. You can actually just tap and it really helps you. So Jenny, tell us about you. So how did you do that? You didn't come out of the womb tapping. So what was it? What was your spiritual awakening? Because I really want to hear it.
Well, there's two. My spiritual awakening, I'll tell you two quick stories. Is one when, believe it or not, I joined the Canadian Navy. And I went through basic training, but I had mono. I had infectious mono when I joined it. I got diagnosed 2 weeks before. Mononucleosis.
What is that?
It's called the kissing disease.
Oh, wow.
It's very contagious, and it's really it's an autoimmune type of thing where it makes you really tired, really sluggish. You get a lot of throat infections and things like that. But you're exceptionally tired. You want to sleep all the time.
Yeah.
So you have no energy. So think of having no energy and then joining the Navy. So, and I didn't tell them, because if I told them, they would have not let me join, obviously. So I ended up joining the Navy with basic training, and it's just like in the movies, basic training is not easy. So, 2 weeks before I joined, I couldn't walk up the stairs, and I was running 2.5 miles up a mountain kind of thing. So it was very intense. And then afterwards, I was very sick after. I had bruises all over my body. The walls would move. I was tired all the time, and I was doing my undergrad at the time. So I went from doctor to doctor, and it took about 3 years to be diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. And that happens from Epstein-Barr virus with mono.
Do you know what? So many people, though, are going to be listening to this, honestly, Jane, to stop you, that chronic fatigue syndrome, and so many people are experiencing that. And I hear that quite a lot, but you had it. And so, I mean, I don't know what that feels like, but what did it feel like getting up every day or not getting up every day?
Yeah, it feels like there's no blood in your body. Like you just have no energy. Like lifting up your arm is effort, moving is effort. And the worst part of that, what happened to me, was that sleep became my priority. It's like my whole world planned around getting enough sleep, because if I didn't, I just couldn't make it through the day. But I'm a bit of an overachiever. So I was doing this when I was doing my undergrad, and I was on all these committees. I had 3 part-time jobs. So I was always pushing myself. And one thing I learned from it was you got to listen to your body. And so when I went through basic training, I was foolish to continue on, because I was pushing myself beyond what was healthy. But really where I had this awakening was when the doctor finally diagnosed me, and I was with my mother, and I remember it specifically. He said, "You have chronic fatigue syndrome." And I said, what does that mean? He goes, well, it means you're going to be like this forever. It's chronic. You can't get rid of it. And he said, I said, well, I want to run a marathon one day. He goes, you'll be lucky if you can work full time. So I was like, I sat there and I'm going,
that's the rug pulled from under your feet,
yes,
isn't it? So,
yes.
We can say it's a spiritual awakening, but in that moment, that is massive to say to someone so young. So how old were you?
I think it was about 21.
Yeah.
So, but
it's like, wow, we're going out partying, right?
Yes. But then I sat there and I said, I told him where to stuff it. I literally did. And I said, no, I'm not taking that on. And what I realized then is that I can give my power away to this doctor and believe in him, or I can take my power back and say, no, I can heal myself.
Yeah.
And so I ended up on a healing journey, alternative health, whole bunch of things that eventually led me into tapping. Wow. And that how I got into tapping it's a really cool story, is that very long and short of it, I was married, had 2 miscarriages, ectopic pregnancy, and really wanted a baby, but got divorced. And I said, I really want a child. And what I realized is, because I'm an overachiever, I wanted to do pregnancy. And you can't make pregnancy. If somebody said you can climb Mount Everest, you get pregnant, I probably would climb Mount Everest. And I was trying so hard to do it. And until I realized that I need to allow it versus try to do it. And as soon as I shifted that energy, and that's what got me into tapping, was like, how do I shift that energy into not being so stuck on making it happen, but just trusting and being, surrendering to it, essentially. Yeah. And that was really powerful. And then I have a beautiful 13-year-old son.
See, saying so, because my daughter's 13 nearly, isn't she? So we were saying, we met before, and they're the same sort of age. So that's interesting, because that was a significant time for me as well, becoming a single parent with 2 babies. So that was a significant time for you, creating this beautiful, soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew I had the power to let go, and I could actually, heal myself, because I work full time. I do lots of things. I have a lot more energy. I recently went on a vacation with a friend who was 10 years younger than me, and I had more energy than her, doing everything. So there you go. Yeah.
So that's a beautiful story, because there will be so many people that, and at the moment, in the world, we're interviewing on the 27th of October, 2020. So we're right in the thick of many things going on in the universe, a big awakening. Some people call it, I definitely call it that. Some people say it's a really awful time, and people are worried about their health, and people are going for diagnosis for things. And you're saying, which is so cool, that does not have to be your sentence.
Yes.
That actually you can transform that by changing your beliefs, essentially. It's more than that, but it's more than that. But it's.
Yes. And you can't make it happen. You have to shift your energy and heal different parts of me. So with the chronic fatigue syndrome, it was getting on a healthy journey. It was learning different things. It was saying, I don't have to believe what the doctors are telling me. And getting pregnant with my son, it was very spiritual, because it was almost inviting him into coming into my life. And it was that connection versus the physical. It was more, the spiritual connection than it was the physical.
Yeah. And we know that, don't we? We know that we are, if you're listening to this for the first time, it's called the Spiritual Awakeners podcast. So you either are thinking that you're awakening to the spiritual aspect of yourself, or you already are. And so we know that we are not just a mind and body. We have this soul as well, and the soul knows so much more than we think we ever know. Yes. So your soul was calling out to you to say, you might not know just yet, but soon you're going to know why you're really here, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yes. And to take the power back, to be in the place where to say, you know what, we're going to hit bumps and challenges in our lives. It's just going to happen, but that I have the power to move through it. It's not going to be my whole world forever, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jenny, have you written about this at all?
I actually did write for a course I was taking. I wrote sort of the things that meant a lot to me and what I've done in my life and how I shifted them. But that was just for personal. I haven't done anything publicly. Yeah.
But you have on your website, don't you, where people can sign up to your, she's been sending it to me, the email. So tell us about that. Like, what can people do to self-help, really?
Yes. Well, tapping is such a, I don't know how much your listeners know about tapping, but tapping is such a great mobile tool to help people, especially in the moment of emotions, right?
If you've got a hand, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you've got a hand,
so it's just, it's just learning the different tapping points, and then going through them. And then if EZtapping, if it's something people want to subscribe to, then it has different programs on, I have insomnia. So it has programs to help limiting beliefs about insomnia. Because a lot of times, because I've suffered from insomnia, is that we don't even know what that limiting belief is with us. And so this is where this tool goes through different aspects. Oh, I didn't even know that I couldn't sleep because I felt unsafe. Like they didn't connect that, in their mind, but when they go through it emotionally, then it reduces that, and then it shifts that, and then allows people to sleep, for example.
Yeah. And that's really key, because it's like what we don't know what we don't know, right? So we might have that symptom, like you had that symptom, but that symptom is not just I can't sleep. That symptom is so much more than I can't sleep, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. And it's most sleeping is about being unsafe.
Absolutely.
And so people don't always realize that. So what EZtapping does, it has different, what we call aspects of the problem. And then the tapping goes through the different aspects. So it helps people shift those aspects that are so subconsciously, embedded in them. They don't even realize that they have them. Right.
That's cool. So how can they get that? So they go onto your website, you're right?
Yeah. EZtapping.com. Yeah.
So,
and then they can send me a message. So EZtapping.com.
Yeah. So that's EZ
or Z, depending on where you are, tapping.com.
Yeah. Brilliant. And then they go onto your website.
Yes. And then they can send me a message. That website is targeted towards practitioners who want to use that with their clients. Because we find that tapping practitioners, getting their clients to tap in between session is just increases success, gets people tapping more and everything. So there's a real benefit in doing that.
I think that's a really key thing as well, because I know when I was training in tapping, and I actually used to teach people, I was a trainer in it as well, in EFT. And when you need it most is when you don't think about using it. Right. So this is a really good thing, because actually, if you're doing it all the time, if this is what you're choosing to do, you're doing it all the time, it just becomes part of the whole thing of, like, you make your bed in the morning, or you clean your teeth, or you brush your hair, or whatever it might be. It becomes part of your daily washing routine, or whatever you might call it. It's a cleansing, isn't it, all the time?
Yes. And that's a really good point too, is when we really need it, sometimes we don't always are aware of it. So if we get into the habit of tapping, going through the points every day, it just becomes natural. So I tap in the car sometimes. I tap even in stores if something's coming up. So I'm very open to where tapping sort of surfaces.
But you can't if you're wearing a mask. Oh, mind you, you could if you're wearing a mask, just about.
or virtual tapping, I find works really well. If I'm trying to go to sleep, I imagine myself on the tapping points, and that works just as well. I find it's going
because it's just energy.
It's energy, right? And you're setting your attention on that. Exactly.
Yeah. So whereabouts are you in the world? Just so people know.
I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
So we're just going into fall now. We have the red and orange and yellow leaves. They're just finishing up, and it's starting to get as well.
Yeah, we have the orange at the moment in the woods. It's beautiful orange, but I live right by the sea, so all I can really see is the sea at the moment, and this torrential rain coming in with a big, kind of stormy kind of feel. But we have got quite a lot of storm going on in the world, so I think the weather is reflecting that here.
Absolutely,
definitely at the moment.
Yes.
So Jenny, what would you say? Definitely your health was an awakening, wasn't it? And definitely having your baby or falling pregnant with that. What could you say to people that are kind of stuck in this situation at the moment, where they feel they don't know what is the future for them?
Yes. I think for a lot of people, when you're in something, that's all you can see. It's like a vacuous space. And I think sometimes stepping out and being the observer detaches yourself from that, because when we're in it, we just don't see beyond it. And we've all been there, in our lows of our lives, and we're like, how do I get out of this? Is there another side kind of thing? And sometimes if we can take that angle and look at that from the outside and observe, then we detach from that and we're not so in it. and then we can sort of see going through it. And then remembering, you know, past experiences. I remember a really cool story that I always bring back to myself, whereas I was in a beautiful house and I had to move for various reasons. And I'm like, I had this belief that I am not going to find the house that I want. So I ended up writing down everything I wanted, you know, everything from how many bathrooms on every floor, what type of floors, the garage, you know, the layout, the location, everything. And literally I put it down and I said, okay, universe, help me manifest this, because I don't know what to do. And literally the next day we're taking my son to a birthday party and we went a different route, and I was driving and something said, turn your head. And I turned my head and there was this big sign on the property, and it had every single thing on that list except for one thing. It had, I wanted hardwood floors, but it had carpets. And when I went in there, they said, we're going to remove the carpets, let's put in hardwood floors. And I was like, I had every single thing on that list. It was so amazing.
Amazing. I did the same with my house right by the sea. So I was like, I want it right by the sea. I want this, I want that. I want walking distance to everywhere. Yeah, I know. And we can do that. We really can do that. That's such a cool thing to talk about, because, and it's the same as soulmate lists and, you know, things like that, isn't it? It's like, what do you want in a partner? What do you want in this? So what do you want in your car? What do you want in this? It's fun. It's fun. But on a serious level, we can also do that with our bodies, our health, our mind, can't we? And by shifting those beliefs, we can actually transform physically what's going on in our body. Maybe it's our shape, or maybe it's the ache that we have, maybe it's our headaches, whatever it might be. We can literally change those things. And as I'm looking at it in my mind, it's almost like the spiral of energy coming down. So as we're opening up our consciousness through doing tapping or whatever we choose to do, we are shifting our beliefs, aren't we? And really changing our consciousness. Yeah.
Yes. And just being aware, like I use that story of the house. So when I'm stuck in something, I'm like, remember the house. Thought I was stuck in that house, and look how I shifted that. So it's a reminder that we do have this power. And then it's like, okay, I can surrender into this and allow this to shift rather than trying to force it to shift. I think for me, that's what the power is then trusting within and then allowing that versus trying to push it through.
You know what I'm intuitively guided to do is, if you're open to do this, is maybe because people are feeling stuck at the moment. There's a lot of people feeling stuck. Let's together, and you can guide it. Let's do just a little tapping script for people. So if they're feeling stuck or they just don't know what the future holds, I'm feeling it's the uncertainty of the world. Should we do something together? I'll follow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me just get
really helpful for people.
My camera a bit better.
Yeah. I think it might be really helpful for people because, you know, it could be that they're listening to this, you know, this is obviously on my YouTube channel and across social media and across yours and on iTunes. So, you know, if you're listening to this, it could be that it's on, not on video, that it is on audio, and that's fine, because Jenny will say the points, you know, where we're tapping first. If you can do that, Jenny, if you can say I'm tapping on my eyebrow or whatever, and then people who have never done it before can tap along. And obviously if you're driving, you're not going to do that while you're driving, right? So take responsibility.
They can do it virtually, they can imagine it, right?
Yeah, but we still need them to take responsibility for their own well-being, and perhaps do it when they pull over. But let's have fun with that.
Okay.
I'll be guided by you.
So we're going to go to the side of the hand, which is this soft point on the hand.
Yeah.
And we're just going to tap lightly here. And we're going to go through 3 rounds where what we do is we sort of say we accept what's going on right now. And it's sort of telling us, because we're speaking the truth essentially. So I'm going to say something, you follow along, and the listeners can follow along too. So even though I have this worry about the world, it feels so heavy. It's so uncertain. And I'm scared. I completely and deeply accept myself. Even though I have all these concerns, all these worries about what's going on in the world, and going on in my life, I deeply and completely accept myself.
I needed to take a deep breath then.
So even though I have this worry.
I have this worry.
And it's heavy.
And it's heavy.
I'm just going to be with my feelings right now.
I'm just going to be with my feelings right now.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the top of the head.
So top of the head, guys.
I feel all this heaviness.
I feel all this heaviness.
And then the eyebrow, which is the inside of the eye. I have all this heaviness.
I have all this heaviness.
The side of the eye. It's so heavy.
It's so heavy.
Under the eye. I can feel it in my body.
I can feel it in my body.
Under the nose. It's all over my body.
It's all over my body.
Chin. It's so heavy.
It's so heavy.
Collarbone, which is just around your chest here.
My microphone.
Okay. I can feel this heaviness in my body.
I can feel this heaviness in my body.
Under the arm, all this worry.
All this worry.
Top of the head. It's dark and it's heavy.
It's dark and it's heavy.
Eyebrow, I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Side of the eye, I'm worried.
I'm worried.
Under the eye, it's dark and it's scary.
It's dark and it's scary.
I feel the heaviness in my body under the nose.
I feel the heaviness in my body.
On the chin, it feels so heavy and dark.
It feels heavy and dark.
Collarbone, I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Under the arm, and that scares me.
And that scares me.
Top of the head. I can just be with my feelings right now.
I can just be with my feelings right now.
Eyebrow, I can accept what I'm feeling.
I can accept what I'm feeling.
Side of the eye, I might not be able to change the world.
I might not be able to change the world.
Under the eye, but I can shift my feelings right now.
I can shift my feelings right now.
Under the nose, I can just allow my feelings to be.
I can allow my feelings to be.
Chin, I can just be with my feelings right now.
I can be with my feelings right now.
Collarbone, I can just breathe into my feelings.
I can just breathe into my feelings.
I can let this worry and this fear under the arm.
I can let this, we're trying to speak it through, aren't we, for people that are not watching? Yeah, I can let my feelings just be.
Top of the head. I can just breathe deeply as I tap.
I can breathe deeply as I tap.
Eyebrow, I can just be with my feelings right now.
I can just be with my feelings right now.
And I can feel the worry reducing.
I can feel the worry reducing.
Under the eye, I can feel my body relaxing.
I can feel my body relaxing.
And this is what I can shift right here, right now.
And this is what I can shift right here, right now.
And the chin, I can just let my feelings be.
I can just let my feelings be.
Collarbone, and not push them away.
And not push them away.
Under the arm, I can just let my feelings be right here, right now.
Let my feelings be right here, right now.
Okay, so let's take a deep breath in. I feel more relaxed. How are you feeling?
Yeah, just this sort of sense of calm and groundedness, you know, and I don't have any worries about the world, but then it's not just like whatever you're working with. So if you're worried about the world or you're not worried about the world, even if you just do that, you can feel your central nervous system just calming down, because there will be something that might be worrying you at the moment. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be about the world. It could be about something else in your life, couldn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
because
just
it can
to
be
feel that.
Yeah, it can be what's going on in the world that makes you feel worried about your own future, your own relationships, finances, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So then, and then what you do is you're in the moment, you're taking in those emotions, you're relaxing, because when you go through the tapping points, you're reducing cortisol levels, you're doing a whole bunch to your body.
Exactly.
And it just helps you shift those emotions right there, right now.
That was so cool. I hope everyone enjoyed that.
That's great. Thank you.
So Jenny, if people want to do some work with you, what types of people? You said that you work with practitioners a lot, so you've obviously got this EZtapping program that you do with them. What about individual people like me?
Absolutely. They can use the tapping tool on their own. They don't need to work with a practitioner. I have quite a few users that use it just for various things they want to work on until they're ready to find a practitioner, or they're new to tapping. They want to see if it works for them. A lot of people use it that way too.
And do you work individually with people?
I am not. I am a certified practitioner, but my practice is not to work with people. Mine is to provide tools. That's sort of my area of fun for me. So that's what I do. Yes.
Yeah, so you provide the tools so people can go onto your website, and where else can they find you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram at EZtapping, so they can find me there.
Yeah, it's easy.
I post
Easy to find you at
easy.
EZtapping. Yeah.
Yes, I post every day, so if people want to DM me there, they can for sure.
Yeah, brilliant. So
Yes.
and especially if you're a practitioner. So if you're a practitioner and you feel that you want to definitely take this to perhaps a different level and offer your clients something different as well, so that they can be helped, then that might be a really good thing for you to do. Definitely.
Absolutely, because practitioners that work with this, they find that their success levels increase. People renew more because they're getting more progress. There's a whole bunch of benefits to it, and it's a lead magnet too, because it attracts people into their practice saying, "Hey, I get also this tool if I work with you one-on-one." So it's a all-around benefit. And the cool thing about it is EZtapping is branded towards a practitioner's website. So it's considered their own offering. It's white labeled, so it looks like their branded colors. They can use it as their own personal
Well,
offering.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and the programs can be customized. So if you work in, let's say, fertility, then we can do fertility programs that are customized to your client base.
Yeah, that's really good. So the types of subjects can be anything. So you tailor them. So you create the tools.
Yes.
Yeah? So say you're a practitioner and you're coming along and you're like, well, I tend to work with people who want to lose weight, or I tend to work with people who, want to create success, or, you can tailor them that way.
Absolutely. I've just worked with 2 different clients. One was doing a prosperity program, so we did a 40-day prosperity program. Another woman, she works with entrepreneur networking, so we did a networking and sales program. Somebody else is working with people for quitting smoking, so we're in the process of developing a quitting smoking program. Yeah, absolutely.
And what about fears? Fears as well?
Oh, absolutely, fears. Yes,
That's where mine started.
Yes, there's a whole bunch of library of fears, worries, anxiety, stress, sadness, all those in the moment type of feelings, because when we're in the moment, we're like feeling scattered, where this can really help, as you said, ground you and just be in your body. So yeah.
Yeah, my EFT story was spiders. And I had no idea. And I was just so white fear with spiders. This was years ago. And 12 years ago. And I couldn't even open a cupboard just in case, like totally irrational, just in case there was a spider there.
Wow. And being close to the water would be a lot more spiders too, right?
I don't know actually, but we're definitely in the country. So yeah, we get a lot of the big house ones. And it went right back to, when I started doing EFT, it went right back to a memory. And this happens, guys, when you've got a memory, you don't even know that memory's there. But it went back to a memory when we lived in this really old house in the middle of nowhere. And I was walking along, and I must have been about 3 years old or 4 years old. And I walked and I trod on a spider. And it was the reaction of my father.
Oh,
but I literally associated spiders with this reaction of fear, because my dad was scared of them.
Oh, interesting.
So that was what I actually didn't even know that I didn't even know. So the EFT journey took me on. And then I was like, well, my goodness, if I can heal myself from, being afraid of spiders, which have been my whole life, literally my whole life. I mean, terrified. Then I can heal anything within myself. Wow. And that was my journey of EFT. And
that's amazing.
I think you always find EFT for a specific, people find it for a specific thing.
Yes.
And then it usually takes you on the journey, that you want to help other people with it.
Right.
And that's where mine was, and I started with that. And I definitely didn't think I was going to be a practitioner in it. It wasn't the plan.
Right.
And all of a sudden I found myself doing this,
look at
that course, and then training as a trainer. And then, the rest
great story. Yes.
But if you're listening to this and you've got a fear and phobia, let me tell you, flying, whatever, you honestly can heal it. And it usually, fear of flying is always fear of dying, right? And fear of spiders. Well, look at mine. Mine was just this journey, where I had no idea it came from that moment in time. And then it was the fear of father because of his fear. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then it went into another place as well. So, oh my God. It was just, you never would have got it from talking therapy.
Yes, no, exactly.
You would have got that from talking therapy.
No, and what I love about tapping is that's just a great story because you could see the difference where one day you're afraid of spiders, the next day I can open up that cupboard and I'm okay. So you can actually
I can go in my
see.
shed now. We have a shed
Wow.
here in the UK. Yeah, that's what they call them.
Yes.
And I can go in my shed. I could do any. I mean, I'm not telling you I want to have a pet one, and I wouldn't necessarily, if there was one on my table, I wouldn't go, oh, how lovely, really nice spider. But I'm not afraid of them. I don't have any fear of spiders.
It's not overpowering you. Like you said, it was your life for so many years.
Yeah.
So
I mean, a cool thing is, like, just before we finish, is that I lived in London and I had a flat. I lived on my own. And if there was a spider in the
you'd
bathroom,
leave.
I would phone my mother on the South Coast and tell her there was a spider in my bathroom.
And she'd
It's
come and
like,
kill
what
it.
can I do?
Yeah.
Well, that's how terrified I was.
Yes.
So this shows you that you can have these totally irrational, but feel like rational fears. And, it could be fear of relationship. It's coming to me now. Fear of relationship, fear of swimming, water, obviously, because that's quite a lot of history with EFT. Fear of swimming, fear of enclosed spaces, fear of so much, isn't there, Jenny?
Yeah,
That
there's
people can
snakes and
have.
mice and high places. It's really good for
Yeah.
high places and yeah.
And allergies and things. And obviously we're not doctors. We're not going to get into the whole medical thing, but there are many things that, you might not have been able to eat that you can now eat, and things like that.
Yes, absolutely. It's such an
So,
amazing, gentle tool and it's so versatile and so mobile too, which is great.
yeah. So, because EMDR worked with veterans for a very long time, and a lot of them had experienced EMDR, which is the eye movement, if people don't know what it is. And that's amazing, but you can't take that with you, whereas EFT, you are that tool.
Exactly.
You are the tool that you can take with you on the train or the bus or in that room when you don't want to go out of that house because you're hearing loud bangs or whatever. That is where EFT was really powerful in my work with veterans.
Absolutely.
With PTSD, and it just really helps them.
And it's so great with kids too. So kids
sure.
love it because they shift so quickly. They come and they tap, okay, I'm fine now, and they go off, right?
So yeah, they absolutely love it, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, a book maybe on the cards for you then, Jenny, at some point,
Maybe, yeah.
maybe,
yeah.
right?
Well, I do write for a living, so I do a lot of writing. So
yeah, maybe a
So.
self-help EFT book.
Yeah, you never know.
So guys, thank you so much for listening to us on the Spiritual Awakener. You can get a hold of Jenny on EZtapping.com. So it's so easy to remember. Easy peasy, we can call it here.
Yeah, there we go.
English expression. So it's been brilliant to have you, Jenny. Thank you for sharing your awakening. Thank you for doing the tapping with us, because that was really good fun. And say hi to Jenny, send her a message. And if you're a practitioner, definitely get in touch, because she can create something specific and tailored for you.
Awesome.
So thank you for listening to the Spiritual Awakener. I've really enjoyed this episode. If you want to hear my spiritual awakening story, pop over to episode 1, where you can hear all about my visitations in the night. And if you've got a spiritual awakening story that you want to share with me and my listeners, I'd love to hear from you. Find me on susankennard.co.uk. Much love for now. Bye.
Perfect. Thank you.